Hey, I'm Alexandra and I'm a creator and solopreneur based in Montreal, Canada, a city many consider the Little Europe of North America, though to be fair, most of the people who say that are North American. I say that having spent most of my 20s in Europe, most people there actually have said they actually love Montreal, so we tend to get good reviews, minus some pretty bitter cold winters. But I actually moved back to Montreal about 3 years ago now, and I've been doing the solopreneur creator thing for about 18 months, so about half that time. Before that, I was working at a startup hub, which is actually what inspired me to take this leap into entrepreneurship myself after being around so many other entrepreneurs, whether they were university students doing something part-time or people with decades of experience that were finally jumping onto some idea they had and making it happen, chasing a dream. So it's been a really interesting ride for me. I started kind of dipping my toe in these waters by freelancing at first, and then I kind of within 6 months, moved into more of like a one-to-one coaching, consulting role. And then earlier this year in January, I actually launched my own community of practice. So it's kind of like a cohort-based course, but it's ongoing in the sense that people can work through the content in their own time. But I host live office hours each week for people to meet with me and meet with other people in the community. And ultimately, I'm helping people build and run their first cohort-based course in 12 weeks or less. And then people who have run their first cohort, just kind of scaling from there. So it's been really incredible. I've learned a ton, definitely worked many hours. But one of the things I wanted to talk to on that note today is that I'm actually dealing with carpal tunnel at the moment, which is a first for me. And this is one of the things that I would say working at a startup hub or any other thing that I've learned doesn't really prepare you for, in the sense of there's always going to be challenges that present themselves or, darken your doorstep, as the British would say, that you can't really anticipate. So this is one of them for me. I'm someone who's normally really active, and something that's been top of mind is often what my yoga teacher says is, our hands are our foundation in yoga. And to be honest, they're really our foundation in anything computer related, even reading books. So this has been a big challenge, probably the biggest challenge in my solopreneurship journey to date, of how do I adjust to having to, reduce my workload, because rest is really the only thing that will cure it. So I've just been doing my best to stay calm, not get stressed about it, and just realize that it is what it is. Complaining and, feeling discouraged about it isn't really going to help me, although no judgment if you're in a similar situation and you have moments of that. I've definitely had them myself. But I think what's really helped me has been just kind of recentering on how can I make the most of this situation. And a mentor of mine actually took me by surprise by saying, figure out a way to enjoy it. And at first that really stumped me, but then I understood what she meant, in the sense of I'm someone who reads a lot, and I was saying, okay, well, at the moment I can't even really hold a book without hurting my wrist. So I decided to, spend more time watching Netflix and look for some really good series. I found some 19th century inspired period pieces that I started watching, and found that was super interesting, and sent me on another kind of rabbit hole of just information to look up. I love the UK. I lived there for 2 years. So just some cool historical stuff to look into. And just some ideas that helped me ignite my creativity. So I look at that and I think, I wouldn't have taken the time to really kind of dive into Netflix if I was just reading as usual. So that's a cool thing. And in general, it's kind of forced me to slow down, in the sense of I've been really kind of going 100 miles an hour since I started this journey, and even when I was working at the startup hub. So by being more restricted physically, I've had to really hyper prioritize what am I doing each day, and is it really moving the needle to my overall goals, as a solopreneur and a creator. So it's focused me to kind of forced me to identify what's my minimum viable each day, what does that look like, and how can I celebrate achieving that, rather than just, berating myself for not being able to do, 10 times as much the way I would hope to when I'm at peak performance. And I think overall, it's been a balancing act of kind of just humbling me, of as much as it's felt good, and sometimes, felt like a bit like burnout of pushing myself so hard. It's really forced me to think of, okay, how can I, now that I'm in a phase of kind of balancing things out and moderating my schedule, how can I make it more manageable, more sustainable, and overall more healthy, so that I'm not burning myself out and continuously working overtime, and not making time to just, slow down, enjoy life in general without just being like work, work, work. So I'm trying to find, I'm still finding, silver linings in this experience, but I just wanted to share that because I think for me, something that really helped was a friend of mine who's ahead of me in her solopreneur journey was talking about how she went through carpal tunnel and she was taking painkillers and pushing through it, and just seeing, kind of her pictures even of like her hands in these same wristbands, and how she pushed through it, and now she's doing great, because she scaled back and she got balanced. How could I do something similar? So if you're in a similar situation, whether it's carpal tunnel, any other physical, mental health ailment, or something that's just, whether it's burnout, etc., just know that there are ways to get through it, and always ways to find the silver lining in it. So just look for reasons to be grateful for it, see what you can learn from it, and then eventually you'll push through it, and things will be better, and you'll be that much wiser for it. And I always love that quote of how they say anytime you're going through some sort of challenge, eventually your success story, or how you push your perseverance story, will be someone else's survival guide. So I hope that's the case. It's definitely been that for me. So just want to pay it forward and hope that whatever's challenging you at the moment is something you're able to spin into an opportunity of gratitude, optimism, and that you'll be that much better for it. So thanks. Bye.